What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Thanks for joining. I truly appreciate you. Welcome back to the show. We got a lot to talk about, man. We have a lot to get into. We got to talk about so much has been happening throughout the week. And one of the things I want to get right into is the fact that some of the charges were dropped with Diddy, in the Diddy case. Some of the charges have been dropped. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Antione Massey being captured. We got to get into it, man. We're going to break it down and talk about that situation, as well as K.Michelle went on the podcast with Cam Newton, and she had a lot to say. She started crying when the subject came up about black men taking care of their families. Particularly, she was talking about successful or rich black men, but we're going to break it down and we're going to talk about that as well. Also, Jim Jones decides to put his resume up against Nas. Out of all people, Jim Jones decides to put his resume up against Nas. Dude must be out of his mind. We're going to break that down as well. And lastly, we're going to talk about this thing with Donald Trump. He was cursing. He cussed as a lady asked him a question about the war with Iran and Israel being a ceasefire. And he cussed and said they don't know what the F they're doing. So we're going to talk about it. And we're going to get right to it. Without further ado, let's get it.
That's what I do it for. You know I got motion. Even though I be joking, get to the bag. Got me waking that folks up. It's deep as the ocean. Been through the fire. It's gotta be wide. Pushing me, burning inside. Kept me alive. When I would've gave up, I would've never survived. I do it for legacy.
That's right. Let's get it, y'all. So we're going to get right to it. I don't want to talk y'all to death. We're gonna get right to the information. I'm gonna play this clip and we're gonna break it down and we're gonna go from there. You heard me? So without further ado.
Well, being in Atlanta all this time and then going to Nashville, where it's predominantly white. One, they go home at 5 and 6 o'clock when they're producing because they go home to their families. Being a country singer, if you are a singer in country music, you're a man. If you are not married, it is not respected. Family is respected in country music in that space. But in our space, we are singing about side chicks. We are glorifying a lot of women. That's not what happens in Nashville. You can't call a woman a bitch or hoe in Nashville because they'll never even listen to your music. And your professional career will suffer. At what point in the Black community do our men create real homes? And even talking, just our first time talking, and you said you didn't even mean for that to happen. Life happens. I'm not here to judge life. I'm looking at a successful Black man that has the ability to literally turn the narrative on Black family, you know? Mm-hmm. And my grandfather, I watched my uncles and everything. My whole family, they're married. I'm not the girl who didn't see what a man creating a Black family is supposed to be. So I'm asking right now, Black men, I got to my Black men to really step up for Black women and create families. Yeah. It's really not cool. Black men are attacking Black women. And it's not a cool, they're not creating homes. They're creating babies everywhere. It's not.
All right, y'all. So we're going to get right to it. And I think that first and foremost, let me say this, because in the beginning, when she was making a point about the culture, about the music, the country music being that they don't glorify single mothers or talk bad about the women, things like that. That is absolutely true. And I do understand that we have a trash ass culture. I've been saying it for the longest. I don't like the fact that we find ways to glorify dysfunction. That's a fact. That's a fact. And we got to get that together as Black people. We got to get that together. That's a fact. But what she lost me was when she started to make this cry out to Black men, like as if Black men alone are the issue. What boggles me is that not her speaking only from one side like that, as if the women have absolutely no power over the situation, when in fact the women are the ones that control sex. Men control relationships and marriage. Women control sex. So when we talk about broken homes or kids that's don't have a father and things like that, which is actually a false statistic. When you talk about more black men are not involved in their kids' life, it's actually not true. More black men are involved in their kids' life, whether they're in the home or out of the home. Only 46% of black men even have kids. So let's talk about the facts. Only 46% of black men between age 15 and 49 have kids. 54% of black men don't even have kids. Okay. So this is not an all black men thing. This is not something that you can apply to all black men. Now, the truth of the matter is a lot of women do tend to want the same type of black man, the same type of guy, a guy that might have status, a guy that has money, a guy that has a lot going for himself. So that's going to oftentimes attract the women are going to get attracted to the same guy. That's part of the problem. So my point is, this blame to go on both sides. To make the case as if there is only blame to go on one side, or that men are to be to blame, or that she's pleading to black men to stop doing this, that. Listen, even though we do have to eat some of that, black men do have to be accountable. This is not an escape from accountability. Black men need to be accountable for our share, or the ones that are doing it. Not all black men, the ones that are doing it need to be accountable for their share of creating the problem. That's the truth. That's a fact. We can't get around that. But also we have to look at it from the full view. We can't just close it off to just black men. We can't make it to where it seems like it's not more complicated or complex than that. Because when you talk about the dynamic of relationships in today's age, today's time, it's not what it used to be. This is not a traditional time. This is not a traditional era of relationships. Women are working. Women are taking care of themselves. They're doing a lot more for themselves. They're independent. And it's not a bad thing for an individual woman to take care of herself. She should. Every person should be able to take care of themselves. But the ripple that it creates is that now a lot of women make more money than black men. And now the household, the dynamics of the household is a little bit damaged because of some of the things that people come to the table wanting from each other. There needs to be a conversation. There needs to be a resolution to the problem that are making these relationships fail, and not to mention, a lot of people need to go through therapy, man. A lot of people need mental health evaluations. A lot of people are struggling due to the traumatic experiences that they've been through. So when we talk about why relationships struggle, why families don't work out, why kids are growing up without a father, there's a lot of things into it. A lot of women are running men off. Men are trying to be the father to their kids, and they're not allowing them. A lot of guys might be whatever, again, bad guys might be doing the wrong thing in jail, might not be ready, and they're being given access when they shouldn't have access in the first place. So there's enough blame to go around. I just want to get that out and say that because K.Michelle, I see she's very passionate about it. She should be. I think it's great that she is passionate about it, but it's important to guide that and put that in the right direction and understand that it's not just so simple to just say, I'm pleading with black men as if black men alone are destroying the black community. That's not true. That's just simply not true. And we got facts to back it up. So yeah, y'all, but moving along, we're going to get to this next topic. And I know that I see that they dropped the charges. Some of the charges with Diddy have been dropped. They dropped some of the charges with Diddy. And we got to figure out if Diddy is going to go to jail at all, because I've said from the beginning, once Cassie took that stand, and Cassie started talking, I felt like she wasn't credible. Cassie was with the shits. I said it from the beginning. She was with the shits, and Diddy is going to get off. I'm not saying by any means do I think he should get off or that I want him to get off, but I'm saying that according to what's been talked about and what the case is about, which is sex trafficking and racketeering, I don't feel like it was being proven that that's what he did. But I'm going to play this clip real quick and we're going to get more into it, y'all. So let's talk about it. We're going to get right to it. We got a lot to get into, y'all. I hope y'all ready because we're going to definitely chop it up.
Sean Diddy Combs' defense team wrapped closing arguments in his federal sex trafficking trial.
His attorney called the case exaggerated and mocked the government's evidence. Fox's Connor Hansen is in New York with what happened inside court and what's next for that jury.
On week 7 of his sex trafficking trial, music mogul Sean Combs looked on as his lawyers made their final case. They accused prosecutors of creating a fake trial, over-exaggerating Diddy's recreational drug use and swinger lifestyle, calling it racketeering. Diddy's attorney also poked fun at a high-profile raid of his home where agents seized hundreds of bottles of baby oil.
I think that racketeering charge is going to be difficult for them. It's difficult for most juries. It's hard to understand. I think that there was enough holes poked by the defense to say it's possible that they are not going to come back with a guilty on that racketeering.
Prosecutors have spent more than a month saying Combs operated his company like a criminal enterprise. They argue a long list of crimes ranging from arson to kidnapping amount to a racketeering conspiracy. Much of the trial centered around Combs' troubled relationship with singer Cassie Ventura. Shocking videos showed Combs drag her through a hotel hallway. His attorney acknowledged that domestic abuse happened, but argued that it was not sex trafficking. Now it will be up to a New York City jury to wade through the complex case.
I'm not saying that the elements do not fit. It's just it's going to take some creative arguments on the part of the prosecution.
After receiving detailed instructions, the jury will start deliberating on Monday.
Okay, so as I said, you guys, let me say this real quick because I don't want Diddy to get off if Diddy is guilty. I don't want Diddy to get off if Diddy is guilty. It's a crime. If Diddy has broken the law and he committed a crime, he should get the full extent of what the law says that he should get. 1,000%. I am 100% on board with he should be punished by any means if he has broken the law. But what I'm trying to say is that according to the sex trafficking and racketeering claim that they've been trying to make, the evidence have not been looking solid to me. I just don't see it. I haven't seen it. And I knew from the moment Cassie started talking that she's just not credible. She's just not credible. And it wasn't going to be enough to get this man indicted, to get him arrested by jurors. The jurors are not going to see, you're not going to convince 12 jurors that this man deserves to be in jail when all these people have this evidence that they've been with the shits the whole time. It's just not going to happen. It just won't. So again, man, since these charges are being dropped, to me, it just shows that some of this case is breaking down. There are more charges that they're going to try to apply to him. But again, when you start a case with weak charges and they fail and you have to drop them and then pick up some other area, it's going to just look like, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. You dig? But we're going to move on, y'all, because we got to see how this goes. They're going to deliberate on Monday. We're going to find out what the issue is or what the verdict is on Monday, what they're going to say, and we'll go from there. We're going to talk about it on Monday or Tuesday, whenever they come up with the verdict. But let's move to this next conversation, you guys, because Antione Massey has been captured. Antione Massey has been captured, and there's a lot that I got to say about that.
speak with the homeowner, who told me that it was so shocking that she got a phone call and she rushed over here. She said that her son was actually on the property a little earlier. So it's really hard to kind of put together that someone was actually on her property. But take a look at this video. We were able to obtain that video from a nearby homeowner. Shows what that scene looked like maybe an hour or so ago as several law enforcement agents were here on scene. Excuse me. With big guns, heavy police presence, K9 unit walking onto that property, trying to get Massey out of that house. And, 6 weeks to the date, this has been, all hands on approach and effort from several law enforcement agencies to get the remaining two escapees back into custody. So now we have one still on the run. But that homeowner says that, that she just rushed.
Is it me or this news announcer sounds terrible? This is the worst shit I've heard in a long time, man.
Over here, frantic, wondering what happened. And just to give you a little perspective here, the property where he was captured is actually two homes on the property. So we're not clear on which property Massey was in. She do tell me that there is a tenant that lived on the property, but they were not home at the time. She says she's still trying to learn more details from law enforcement agents. And I know you guys have been speaking with several people. We heard from the U.S. Marshals who said this was a joint effort. But I want to let you all listen to what that homeowner told us, speaking from behind her fence.
I'm frustrated too. I don't know what's happening. They say this is going on, and I get here and I don't even see a cop. So, it's a pretty quiet neighborhood. It's kind of shocking, but hey, things like this happen. We just have to, kind of.
And what the homeowner told me, that it's a quiet neighborhood. Several people who live in this area have echoed that exact same thing, that this is a quiet neighborhood. They heard a huge commotion, came out to check and see what was going on, and that's when they saw the heavy police presence.
Why is he swallowing so much? What's going on with this news reporter, man? This is crazy.
Homeowner also telling us that she's not familiar with some of the people, and she's trying to make sense of what happened here, trying to piece it together herself, but she's really looking for answers. She says she's just finding out from us who were here in front of her home. So we will have more from that homeowner and bring you the very latest on air and online. Reporting live in Hollygrove, Jonah Gilmore, WTSU News.
All right, Governor Jeff Landry just posting this statement to social media saying it's the final countdown. Thanks to.
So they got Antione Massey, and I'm gonna be real with you, man. I don't know. I thought he was gonna turn himself in after he did the video explaining his side of the story of the case that he's being tried for, because it would have looked it better if he turned himself in at that moment. That now he's spoken, he said his piece. Now go ahead and turn yourself in. Now the judge is going to probably grant you some sympathy because he feels for you. You did you did a bad thing, but you turned yourself in. You see what I'm saying? You kind of got the judge kind of hearing you a little bit. At the same time, you're working with him a little bit. But to hide out again for another few weeks after that, I thought it was a bad move, man. Now they got you. They're about to punish you to the full extent of the law. You're on social media. You're taking pictures. You're doing all this stuff, making videos, and you kind of trolling the police at some point. You're making the police department look stupid. That's what you did. You kind of made a mockery of the police department. They're pissed off, bro. They're pissed off. These people are going to try to bury you in that jail, man. I think it was a bad move. I was rooting for the dude. I wanted him. Once he made his statement, once he made the video talking about his case, which he did, he very well articulated himself. I was happy to see that the young man was able to have his stuff together, paperwork in his hand and stuff, and he was breaking down the issue. Now, there's always three sides to every story. I don't know the full story, but I will say from what he was saying, it sounded like he had it well thought out. But now that you waited and they had to come and find you and get you like this, it's not going to look good in court. It's not going to look good to no type of a judge that's going to grant you any type of sympathy. It's probably not going to happen. I'm going to be real with you. So just seeing it, man, like I said, again, I know a lot of people a lot of people are probably disappointed because we all from New Orleans. You know, we kind of fell for the dude. I don't know him personally, but any brother, I would want them to be free and not be in jail. I mean, let me just say that. Now, I will say this as well, though. If you committed a crime, you deserve to do the time. If you did the crime, then you should do the time. I do feel that way. You know, I saw some people saying free Antione Massey as soon as he got caught, this, that, and the third. I'm like, yeah, you know, I understand it, but all I'm asking for is to get a man a fair trial. Give him a fair trial. Make sure he's actually guilty or whatever case may be. Hear everything that he's been saying and presenting to you, and then make a decision based off of the facts. We don't have all the facts. We don't have all the facts of the people watching this play out on social media. We don't have all the facts. So the people who have the facts and have the information on both sides, all sides, they can make a better decision. And he needs to have a fair trial. If he's guilty of the crime he's being tried for, then he deserves to do the time that whatever he get. You know, that's how I feel about it. But I understand though, because some people, man, every time somebody go to jail, it's free my nigga this, free my nigga that. It boils down to this for me. If your people, whoever your people is that's in jail, you say free my nigga this, free my nigga that. If your people hurt anybody else, if your people did anything that was against the law, did anything to hurt anybody else or mess up this community, mess up this society, mess up the neighborhood, whether it be crime, whether it be drugs, whether it be robbing at gunpoint, murder, all these different things that affect other people. If your people hurt anybody else, they deserve to be their asses in jail. And I would tell anybody that to their face. You can't come to me talking about free my nigga this, free my nigga that, when your nigga got 10 charges that he been doing stuff, committing crime for all this time, and you weren't there. Nobody else was there to tell him to stop it. You know, you got a lot of people, their kids are the ones that's doing this stuff, but they're not speaking up. They're not saying nothing. But they want to sit there and say, free my son, free my nephew, free my niece. Now, if your son, your nephew, your niece, your brother, whoever it is, if they out there committing crime and hurting people, their asses need to stay in jail. They need to be in jail. No, don't let them out. Let them out when they deserve to get out. That's how I feel about that. So, yeah, man. But anyway, as far as the other guy, now they got Antione Massey. Is one more guy left. As we know, it was 10 altogether. Antione Massey is the 9th person that got caught. And Derrick Groves is the last man standing. Let me give myself a round of applause, by the way, because we did a bet. Somebody posted on social media. They say, who do you think is going to be the last person to get caught? I'm proud of myself because I said it was going to be Derrick Groves from the beginning. From the beginning, I said it was going to be Derrick Groves. And I was right, because I said all this dude got to do is throw a wig on, maybe a little bit of foundation on his face, and he could pass for a female. No disrespect to Derrick Groves, but I'm just saying, looking at the dude's facial features compared to everybody else, all he had to do was put a wig on, dog, and it was not going to find this dude. Maybe he took my advice. I don't know. But you know, let me just say this real quick, man, because if I broke out of jail, and I know if I go back to jail, I'm not going to never get out again, I would not be right around a corner from the jail. I would not be in the same city. No way in hell would you find me anywhere in that city if you give me a week. Now, trying to get places and trying to move around with your face on the news and all that stuff, I get it. It's tough. But listen to what I'm telling you. No way in hell I'm going to be in that city. If I got to walk to the next state, if I got to jump on a Greyhound bus or just hit up one friend and say, man, look, give me $100 for a bus ticket. It's all I need. I don't want to talk to nobody on the phone. I'm throwing my phone away. I am a whole new person in another state. If I could get to another continent, I've been a whole nother continent. Derrick Groves probably was smart because he probably is somewhere in damn California right now. he gonna be free for a long time. If they ain't catching by now, they have no leads. They haven't heard from him or saw him since the actual footage of him breaking out of jail. This dude been incognito from day one. He made all the right moves. Very smart brother. So again, he's wanted for murder. I'm not saying I want him to be free, but I'm saying that if it was me, I'd be in a whole nother I'd be on another continent, man. I'd be in a whole nother state. I'd be amongst some people looking way different. Some of these guys that got caught, they still got the same haircut. They got the same. I mean, bruh, do you understand that you are wanted by the police? And if you get caught, you go into jail for a long time. You just added more years to your time by doing what you did. You mean to tell me you ain't even cut your hair? If your hair is that important to you to where you can't cut them damn braids off to be free, you deserve to be caught. You deserve to be caught. Now, I think Derrick Groves was smart enough to not only cut his hair, like I said, but to put a whole wig on and turn into a goddamn woman, because the dude could pass for a woman look like with his facial features. All he got to do is throw a little foundation on, throw a wig on, and niggas ain't going to never see him again. You heard me? I really believe that, for real, for real. So we're going to see how long Derrick Groves can stay free. And we're going to watch the situation, y'all, because right now at this point, it seemed like they ain't going to catch him. They ain't got no idea how to find him, no leads, no nothing. He making all the right moves. He too smart. You can't find a needle in the haystack. You dig? So we're going to move on to the next topic, just like that. You heard me? Because we got a lot to discuss, y'all. I told y'all, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, man. We got to break it down. We got to break it down. Everything is going to be broken down one by one. The next situation I want to talk about, y'all, is this Jim Jones case. This guy talking about, he basically compared his career with Nas. So let's let him talk and see what he got to say for himself.
I recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy.
Big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so to be compared,
let me that young kid out. Let me.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We're talking about 94, 93. I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 20.
I want to point something out real quick. He said that these kids gravitate to something different. It's 2025. First and foremost, I want y'all to understand that Jim Jones is almost 50 years old. He still is begging for the attention of children. The way he dresses, the way he talks, the way he moves, all this gang stuff, this whole 6ix9ine situation. Jim Jones is the oldest young nigga on the internet. The oldest young nigga on the internet. And it's embarrassing because you sitting there talking about how the young kids are feeling you. Brother, that's just showing that you don't act your age. Let's let him continue.
2025.
Look at this action. One of the biggest matches in boxing history.
There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in that I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them know. But
You know what I mean?
A lot
Like,
of them know.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's the era.
Some music.
No,
There's some kids that.
no, I love that.
There's some kids that love
My
hip
son's
hop.
20, so I mean,
But he's your son.
He's your son.
He's your son.
No, but he knows.
My son,
they know about
my
Nas.
son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep it a buck. You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up. There must be some type of misconception or what's that word? When it comes to Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers.
We made them take the darkies off.
A lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them. But they forget I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself, gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. You know, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record. Then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries. Then check all them niggas' entries and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody. But I hear the comparisons and the niggas be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on.
All right, so we heard enough, y'all. I can't take no more of that shit. I'm gonna be real with you. Jim Jones sits between two artists. Both have way better careers than him. Jada Kiss, it's superior to Jim Jones by a whole lot. Now, Fat Joe had a good career as well. He's probably more in the same realm as Jim Jones. He sits his ass between these two dudes that are his same age and talk as if they don't know the game. This is amazing. This is the kind of people that are delusional. I mean, you sit there and you're talking like you have a catalog that is superior to Nas. They're looking at you like you're stupid because you sound like you're stupid, bro. No way in hell. Jim Jones is not even in the same. He's not in the same lane. No way possible as Nas, man. I'm gonna just give y'all some facts. He said he got more Billboard entries. It say right here. I looked it up, some information. Nas has significantly more Billboard entries than Jim Jones. Nas has 27 Billboard Hot 100 entries. 27 Billboard Hot 100 entries. Guess how many Jim Jones got? 2. He got 2. And he just said that he got more entries than Nas. Let's talk about the facts, bro. This is what I'm talking about when I say delusional. Nas has 2 top 10 hits on the Hot 100. 2 top 10 hits on the Hot 100. Keep in mind, Nas is a conscious substance rapper. Nas is a lyrical dude. That's not really his realm to make like music that be in the top 100. But he got 2 hits in the top 100s. Guess how many Jim Jones got? He got 1. He got 1. We Fly High. That's the only song that we know Jim Jones from. For some reason, he thinks that his success is beyond balling. Bro, what are you talking about? Jim Jones is out of his mind. Delusional is what I'm talking about. To compare himself with Nas, Nas has 6 #1 albums that went Billboard 200. 6 #1 albums on the Billboard 200. Jim Jones has 1 album on the Billboard 200. What are we talking about? What are we really talking about? And he actually made this case. He made this point. And he's sitting there feeling himself, took off the shades and all that, like as if he about to say some powerful shit. Bro, you are delusional. You ain't nowhere in the realm. You're not even in the same planet as Nas. No way, no shape, no how. I don't know who lied to this dude or who got him feeling himself. You know, I mean, like I said, he worried about the attention of these young kids, these young boys, these youngins, they call them. He want approval from these youngins so bad that he thinks that somehow he got a better career than Nas because you got a 20-year-old kid telling you hot. Man, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here, Jim Jones. This blew my mind when I saw this, man. This is what delusion looks like. This is what delusion looks like. Jim Jones is delusional. You feel me? yeah, man, we got to talk about this kind of stuff because people that say things like this on the internet and that try to make cases that are not based in fact, that's why I created this show. That's why I created this podcast. We got to speak on it because I want to bring the truth to the light. I want to bring the facts to reality, to the forefront. We got to discuss this stuff and really break it down, man, because we can't let people get away with just saying anything no more. We can't do it. We just can't do it no more, man. But we're going to move on to the next topic.
I don't think so, but I'm not happy that Israel's going out now. There was one rocket that I guess was fired overboard. It was after the time limit, and it missed its target yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Hey, man, look, listen. Donald Trump does not surprise me no more. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Nothing Donald Trump says surprise me no more. I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm just so blown away because this man has been showing us who he was from the moment he stepped into this office. He's been saying the most outlandish shit, doing the most outlandish things from the time he took the presidency. So him cussing at a reporter asking about the Iran and Israel ceasefire that they supposedly made a deal in Iran. Israel still bombed Iran after the deal. He's frustrated. Okay, so the language, first and foremost, let's talk about the language because this is the lowest bar that the presidency has ever been set. Okay, I'm not surprised by it, but the bar is set so low. The bar is set so low, bro. Like the president of the United States, imagine if Barack Obama would have said something like that. What if Barack Obama would have had a press said something like this on the national airwaves, on camera, and cursed? He would have got tortured. This man would have got buried. You heard me? But Trump gets a pass because he ran on this whole idea that he's not a politician. So, which is why he got in with, even it was exposed, talking about grabbing women by the what. All these things get overlooked with Trump, okay? But it's fine. It's fine. We're here now. We're not going to cry over spilled milk. We're here now. I want the country to succeed personally. Am I worried? Hell yeah, I'm worried. Am I concerned? Hell yeah, I'm concerned. Because we had no business bombing Iran. We had no business bombing Iran. Foreign affairs was not our business. He ran on that. That he was going to be a peaceful president. He was going to end the wars and all this stuff. Now, he did also say that Iran can't have weapons of mass destruction. So I'm not going to act like as if it wasn't stated. Every president has been saying they can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons. Okay, for some reason, this country is so indebted to Israel that, God forbid, Iran have nuclear weapons, they might bomb Israel, and the United States feels that their job is to protect Israel. I don't understand why the ties are so deep to Israel. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why is it that the United States are so indebted to Israel to where it's like we're willing to go to war and almost start a World War III, knowing that Iran is connected to Russia and China? We almost willing to put ourselves at risk and have a World War III just to protect Israel. Because my whole thing is this. Israel and Iran, they've been fighting for decades. They've been fighting for years on top of years. They've been fighting since the beginning of the time. They're probably going to be fighting long after we gone. Why even involve the United States and that kind of stuff. And we got other real stuff going on. We got more important shit going on right here at home. We didn't have to get involved in that. So even still, the so-called ceasefire, that can break down at any moment. I'm almost anticipating it breaking down because a lot of these countries will say something. They'll say one thing and they'll say ceasefire and they'll say peace talks and do something totally different. This is normal with these foreign countries. They don't respect all that shit. You see what I'm saying? Donald Trump was fooled by Putin and fooled by some of his other leaders, thinking that they're gonna keep their word. Man, these people are damn crooks. These people are some of the worst type of criminals. They're not going to tell you their true intentions. They're trying to trick you. We've been trying to tell Donald Trump and his supporters that, and anybody that might feel differently since he got in office, that you can't trust these people, man. You can't trust these people, you know. But again, we're gonna see how it all plays out, and we got to look at, we got to keep our eye on this and see what we're gonna do next in the event that we do go to war, because we have no idea what that's gonna look like and how bad it might get. Again, once we start going to war, at any given moment, Russia or China might decide to get involved. We've pissed off so many people with these tariffs that anybody might decide to say, well, let me just jump in and help too, because I don't like America. I don't like the United States no more. Trump is an asshole, and we need to find a way to cut his head off and take him out. And that right there is what worries me, because when you come in and you make so many enemies out of allies that you were cool with, that's not good, because you don't have a lot of backup and you don't have a lot of people that's going to, actually like just stay out of it. They might go against you more than help you. But yeah, y'all, thanks for joining. I appreciate y'all for joining in. Do not forget to hit the subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share. Again, I truly appreciate you for tuning in. This is We Got to Speak on It, and we're going to keep speaking on it every chance we get. Until next time, peace.